Lewis Hamilton is not someone who usually begs. He demands. He leads. He works harder than anyone else. But when it comes to development and fixing a broken car, even Hamilton had to make a desperate request. That's exactly what has happened. Inside Ferrari this season, just 10 races into his dream move to Ferrari, Hamilton has reached a point where the fairy tale is starting to fall apart. No podiums yet. No celebrations. No champagne. Just frustration, confusion, and now one massive update that could either fix everything or make things worse. This was never part of the plan. Everyone expected Ferrari to explode into the 2025 season with power, confidence, and speed. Hamilton joining Ferrari was one of the biggest stories in F1 history. It brought hope to a team that had not won a championship in more than a decade. But here we are, 10 races later, and the truth is painful. Ferrari is nowhere near Red Bull. They're not even beating McLaren. And Hamilton hasn't stepped on the podium even once in a full-length race. All of Ferrari's success has come from Charles Leclerc. That's a shocking reality for a team that brought in the most successful driver in F1 history. Now, Ferrari is putting everything on one upgrade. A rear suspension change that could change everything or fail completely. Team boss Fred Vasseur has confirmed the news. The SF-25 will receive its most important update of the season at the Austrian Grand Prix. The focus, rear suspension, specifically. The pull rod setup that has been giving Ferrari problems since preseason testing. It's a complicated system, and it hasn't worked well with the rest of the car's setup. Now Ferrari is trying to fix it with one bold move. The problem started all the way back in China when Hamilton was disqualified due to a ride height issue. After that, Ferrari had to raise the car's height to avoid breaking the rules, but that hurt performance. The car became unstable, lost grip, and became harder to drive. Hamilton has been struggling with this for months now. This new suspension update could allow Ferrari to lower the car without breaking the rules. If it works, it will improve grip, balance, and predictability. If it doesn't, the problems will only continue. But even though the team is working hard, Vasseur is already trying to control expectations. He says the improvements will be small, gains in hundredths of a second, not tenths. That means the upgrade is not a magic solution. It's just one step. But even one step can matter when the car has been this difficult. Hamilton, for his part, has been pushing for these changes for weeks. He hasn't just made polite suggestions. He has been intense, detailed, and demanding. Hamilton has been working behind the scenes, talking to engineers, asking questions, and forcing the team to look at every detail. He hasn't accepted the excuse that this is how we've always done it. He knows Ferrari has to change. He knows they need to be smarter, quicker, and more open to new ideas. And finally, the team is listening. Hamilton said that the Canadian Grand Prix was the first weekend where the car felt right. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't fast enough, but it was predictable. There were fewer last-minute changes. The car didn't surprise him mid-corner. That's not a big success, but it's a foundation. And now that foundation is getting its first major boost with this new suspension package at the Red Bull Ring. But even Hamilton knows this won't be enough. He said it clearly. We've had the same car for a while. It's been small steps. But to fight at the front, we need more. A lot more. That tells you everything. This upgrade is important, but it's only the beginning. And Hamilton isn't just thinking about this season. His eyes are on 2026. That's when Formula One's next big regulation change happens. A new era, new cars, new engines. Hamilton has made it clear that he wants to be part of that reset. That's why he joined Ferrari. That's why he's been patient. But his patience won't last forever. If Ferrari can't show progress now, why should he trust them to build a winning car in 2026? Ferrari knows this. That's why every upgrade now is important for two reasons. First, it has to help this season. Second, it has to prove that the team knows where the real performance is hiding. If Ferrari can find that performance now, even in small amounts, they can build the right car for the future. But if they keep guessing, the risk is clear. Hamilton could lose faith, and when that happens, it's almost impossible to recover. Because let's be honest, Hamilton didn't come to Ferrari to finish fifth. He didn't come to retire in silence. He came for glory, for legacy, for that red dream. He came to be the man who returned Ferrari to the top. That's why this suspension update is so important. It's not just a technical change. It's a symbol, a sign that Ferrari is willing to evolve. But while Hamilton is pushing hard, the rest of the team is still struggling with unity. Ferrari's radio communications this year have been a disaster. Not just once or twice, almost every race. Confused calls, wrong strategies, misunderstandings between engineers and drivers. It's not just drama, it's dysfunction. And now, even former drivers are stepping in to criticize the team. Christian Danner, a former Formula One driver and current analyst, didn't hold back. He said Ferrari's radio behavior is embarrassing. He called it foolish. He said the team is talking past each other, not to each other. That's a serious problem, because in F1, communication is everything. You can't win races if your driver and engineer don't understand each other. In Canada, we saw Leclerc stuck behind. Slower cars, confused about the strategy, and unsure if he was supposed to be on Plan B or Plan C. The radio exchange was a mess. It sounded like the people trying to solve a puzzle without the pieces. And it was all broadcast live. Again, Banner's advice, keep the arguments off the radio. Sort it out later, because every time the fans hear that kind of chaos, Ferrari's image takes another hit. Vassar even admitted that Leclerc had a point. The team should have taken a risk, but it wasn't just about the decision. It was about how the decision was made, or not made. At Ferrari, it often feels like no one is fully in control during races. That's not just a strategy problem. That's a leadership problem. Drivers like Leclerc and Hamilton have instincts. They feel the car. They know what's happening in the moment. But strategy teams have the data, the big picture. They're supposed to make the final calls. Right now, Ferrari has neither clear strategy nor confident leadership. And that's why races keep falling apart. It's not about one mistake. It's about a pattern. But even with all this criticism, Charles Leclerc has come out to defend the team. He's not running away. He's not pointing fingers. He's not even thinking about leaving. Despite the rumors, Leclerc says he still believes in Ferrari. He still wants to win with them. He admits the results haven't been good enough, but he also says the team is not as lost as people think. Leclerc pointed out that apart from McLaren, no other team is completely dominating. Red Bull is still strong, yes, but Ferrari is not being destroyed. They're still competitive, just not fast enough, not consistent enough. That's a huge difference. The media may call it a collapse, but inside the garage, the driver sees something different, a team that's struggling, but not broken. And that's important, because belief is powerful. If Leclerc and Hamilton still believe in Ferrari, there's hope. But belief alone won't win championships. The car must improve. The strategy must improve. The leadership must become stronger. That's the only way forward. And now, with this new rear suspension, Ferrari has a chance to take the first real step. The key question is, will it work? Can the suspension change fix the ride height issue? Will it give Hamilton the grip he needs? Can it help the team stop compromising on setup? If the answer is yes, we may finally see Ferrari competing for podiums again. If the answer is no, then Hamilton's dream season might officially turn into a nightmare. But there is one more layer to this, the bigger picture. Ferrari is not just fighting for wins this year, they're fighting for the future. Every update, every strategy, every communication counts, because 2026 is coming fast. And when those new rules arrive, there will be no excuses. The teams that prepared best will rise. The rest will fall. Hamilton knows this better than anyone. He's been through a rule change before. He saw how Mercedes dominated after the last big reset. That's what he wants to build at Ferrari, a machine for the next generation. But that won't happen unless the team starts improving right. Now,